The annoying parents can sometimes be a pain, but be grateful that they're not some gruesome and annoying zombies. Welcome back, guys, it's Emotion Recaps again, and today we're covering the 1992 horror comedy masterpiece, Braindead. Lionel, a mama's boy, has the unwanted honor of having to look after his overbearingly evil mother. He ends up falling in love with a local woman who believes that they're destined together. In a moment of intentional sabotage of one of their dates, his mother is bitten by a mysterious creature that ends up zombifying her. She rises from the dead a powerful, bloodthirsty zombie. It's only a matter of time before she starts infecting residents of the town, and Lionel has to stop her and them. Before we begin, feel free to subscribe to our channel and please like this video. Remain with us until the end to check out how wonderful this story will be. It helps our great community to grow and enables us to strive for the highest quality content. So without further ado, let's go and let's dive in. The year is 1957. A zoologist and his helper are extracting a rare species of monkey with them. However, they get surrounded by local tribe warriors who are speaking something in their language. The helper translates that, saying that the monkey has a curse and that they need to leave him. The zoologist doesn't give a damn about those words, and he pulls up a Sten submachine gun like a gangsta. He scares tribe members away and he gets into the jeep. The poor helper didn't get there immediately, and he was running for his life. A driver gets over a bump and a cage falls on the zoologist. The helper gets in only to find that the monkey has bitten the zoologist. The driver stops the car and they get a zoologist on the ground. They cut his hand and then they see a bite mark on the arm and they cut it. On the zoologist's misfortune, the crew sees a bite mark on his head and he part ways with it. After that, the crew delivers the monkey and it's transported to Newtown Zoo. We meet Paquita Maria Sanchez, a woman who is working in a store. She's waiting for the right one and she asks her grandmother to look at the tarot cards to see something. The grandmother tells her that his future lover bears the sign of a moon and a star. Paquita sees a card of despair, but the grandma quickly hides it, telling her it's nothing. Then our protagonist enters the shop. His name is Lionel, and this man is an absolute legend with his fantastic stares you will see throughout the movie. He tells Paquita that he came with a list of groceries for his mother. She takes a list from him, and Lionel knocks over a few things from her counter. He hurries to pick it up, but Paquita stops him because she sees the moon and the star sign. She knows he's the right one. Lionel goes back home where the mother is waiting for him, and she's an absolute psycho. She immediately gives him orders to clean the house because a member from some special club is coming to see her. Lionel goes outside to trim the lawn. A dog jumps on him, and Paquita shows up carrying the groceries. They talk a little, and she asks him to go on a date to a zoo, and he agrees. Mother was monitoring their entire conversation. Lionel gets into the house, and his mother immediately starts to guilt trip him. She talks about his dead father, making Lionel feel sad for her. The next day, Lionel and Paquita are walking happily in the zoo. They're chatting and looking around at the animals. They come near the pool and Lionel has a weird vision. At that moment, he delivers one of his better stares in the movie. He sees a hand emerging from the water, and later he tells Paquita that his father drowned while saving him when he was a kid. They come near the monkey cages and they share a kiss. One monkey throws an apple at them, and Paquita throws it back. And then we see a weird monkey from the beginning of the movie. It looks like a mixture of a monkey and a rat. It rips off the arm of the other monkey and it eats it with enjoyment. Lionel and Paquita continue to walk, and they didn't notice Lionel's mother was spying on them. She gets close to the monkey cage and the weird rat monkey bites her. She crushes the life out of him and Lionel gets her home quickly. He puts her in her bed after bandaging her wound. He goes to his room and he sees Paquita outside. She climbs out to his balcony and she gives him his jacket back together with a rose. They go to his room and they make love. That night, Mother's wound bursts, and the next morning, when Lionel takes the bandage off, it's really ugly. The club member shows up at the door and the mother tries to put on makeup. She rips her skin off and Lionel glues it. They go to see the member and her husband. They have lunch together and Lionel brings the dessert. Then Mother's wound bursts again and the goo falls into the man's pudding. He eats it without noticing. And then the mother's ear falls off to her pudding and she eats it. Grossed out, the woman leaves with her husband. Paquita shows up with her dog. She and Lionel talk while the dog wanders away. She tells Lionel that her grandma told her that the dark forces were gathering against him. Then they hear the dogs whining and they go to the mother's room. There, Lionel sees the mother with hair in her mouth. He tries to pull it out and he pulls the whole dog out of her. The mother then attacks Paquita and Lionel pushes her off the stairs. The nurse comes. Paquita stays upstairs to pack the mother's things up for the hospital. However, the mother dies and the nurse tells Lionel. However, she's wrong because the mother gets up. She shoves her fingers into the nurse's face and she breaks her throat. The mother then attacks Lionel and he smashes a vase into her head. The nurse gets up from the dead and she attacks him. Lionel throws a bird decoration at her, and then he locks her up in the basement together with the mother. Paquita gets down without knowing what happened, and Lionel sends her home. That night, the mother and the nurse are making weird zombie sounds in the basement, and Lionel can't sleep because of them. He goes to a Nazi veterinarian and he buys an enormous bottle of tranquilizer. Lionel gears up and he gets into the basement. There he stabs both of the undead with a gigantic syringe and he tranquilizes them. The next day he goes to Paquita. He asks her about those dark forces, and her grandma reads him a tarot. She sees terrible things. She warns him, and then Lionel delivers another genius dare. The grandma gives him a talisman for the defense. The mother wakes up and she breaks out of the house. She goes looking for Lionel when the tram hits her and it throws her to Paquita's door. Lionel sedates her and a bunch of people show up. Everyone assumes she's dead. They make a funeral, and there Lionel's uncle Les shows up and he gets interested in Paquita. Lionel sneaks into the room where he attaches the mother's body to some machine and he tries to tranquilize her, but he hears footsteps and two guys come in. At that moment, the mother bursts because of the machine and the green goo is everywhere. They put some pieces back and they pack her up into the coffin. Lionel is alone with her and she gets out of the coffin and attacks him. He stabs her with a syringe and they fall through the glass, interrupting a priest's preaching. Everyone is shocked. They bury the mother, and that night Lionel comes back to the graveyard to dig her up because he knows she will be back from the dead. However, the classical 50s gang and their leader Void show up. They think he's a necrophile and they beat him up a little. One of them urinates on the mother's grave. Her arm emerges and she grabs Void's testicles. She pulls him down and she eats his torso like pork ribs. The mother gets out of the grave and she turns the other gang members into zombies. The priest gets out to check the noise, and when he sees the zombies, he goes into kung fu mode. He beats the hell out of him. He rips one guy to pieces literally. While the priest is kicking ass, Lionel tranquilizes her mother. The priest kicks the guy's head off and it's come back to him and it bites him. Enraged, the priest tries to make a jump kick, but Void throws him on the statue and the priest gets impaled. Lionel tranquilizes Void and the priest, and the next day we can see him feeding everyone. Zombies try to eat, but it just goes wrong. Lionel hears the doorbell and he goes to see who it is. The priest and the nurse use that situation to get nasty. Lionel finds out that Uncle Les was at the front door. Uncle Les looks around, but Lionel gets him out of the house pretty quickly. He goes upstairs to check on his zombie friends, only to find that the priest is on the nurse. He separates them and throws everyone in the basement. There, the nurse gives birth to a little deformed zombie baby. One day, Lionel finds his uncle in front of the basement. The uncle tells him he saw everyone down there and that he will call the police unless Lionel leaves him at the house. Lionel agrees to leave him the house, and Les then calls his friends and he makes an enormous party. Everyone is drinking and partying except Lionel. He's serving everyone, and one man hears the knocking on the basement door and he opens it. Void comes out and he knocks the man out. He wanders around the party until Lionel notices him and shoves a bottle of whiskey in his throat, and then he takes him back to the basement. Paquita arrives at the party and Uncle Les immediately throws his hands on her. She defends herself and she goes to the basement, where she finds all the corpses. The priest and Void attack her, but Lionel saves her. He explains everything to Paquita and they decide to poison the zombies. After that, they go out, but Uncle Les pushes Lionel back to the basement, and then she takes Paquita to the laundry room to make love with her. To her surprise, she defends herself again. In the basement, Lionel finds out that he gave an animal stimulant to the zombies. Void, the priest, and the nurse rise, and they're looking worse than ever. They escape and they start eating and killing everyone at the party. They rip their body parts and skin apart and remove their intestines with no problem. Lionel gets in the room where Paquita and Uncle Les are. Uncle Les escapes outside. A zombie grabs Lionel around the neck and Paquita helps him. Soon, zombies rush in, so Lionel and Paquita separate. Lionel escapes to the bathroom, but Void follows him. Lionel steps behind him and breaks him in half. He jumps on Lionel, but his intestines fall out. Lionel pushes him on the toilet, and he then escapes to the attic, but Void's intestines go after him. Uncle Les is killing zombies outside like crazy, but soon he gets back in the house, joining Paquita and one girl. He then continues to cut zombies to pieces, and he even grinds on. Lionel finds a chest in the attic. Inside of a chest, he finds a picture of a woman and his father, and then he sees that woman drowning. Void's intestines surprise him. They attack Lionel and he falls through the ceiling. The kick surprises Uncle Les in the testicle by the zombie baby. He chases it and he ends up in the basement. Huge hands grab him and we can see a silhouette of a giant monster. Lionel tries to get the amulet that he dropped when he fell, but he goes flying outside. Zombies surround Paquita and the other girl, but Lionel shows up with a mower. Zombies go at him and Paquita escapes with her friend. The blood show then begins with Lionel's fantastic stare. Lionel cuts every zombie to shreds, pieces, and red goo. everything turns into a bloody mess. After he finishes cutting them, Void shows up. Lionel gives him the best stare of all time. He gets surprised when the mower won't turn on. Void jumps on him, but he defends himself and he turns the mower on. He kills Void. Paquita is grinding zombie pieces while the other girl is screaming. However, she stops soon because the zombie baby rips her face open. Paquita turns on the gas and the room blows up. Lionel finds the amulet and Paquita joins him. They're both shocked when the gigantic monsters jump out of the ground. It's his mother and she's disgusting as hell. I can feel her stench through the screen. Mother chases them to the rooftop. There, Lionel tells his mother that he knows she killed his dad and his lover when she found them together. And then, Lionel falls into his mother's womb and he gets trapped there. Paquita is holding herself, trying her best not to fall, and she screams in despair. Mother moves her hand toward Paquita to push her, but a hand with an amulet comes out of her stomach. It's Lionel. It gets out of the stomach together with his mother's intestines. The mother falls into the burning house and Lionel saves Paquita. The firefighters arrive. Lionel and Paquita kiss each other passionately, and they walk away. The movie ends there. And so that ends our video for today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button if you enjoy this video, and hit also the bell icon so you'd be notified if we have a new movie for you. After this video, why don't you check out these videos we've attached for you? See you next time. See you next time.